your cousin, it's your homie, it's your uncle, it's that dude, it's your boy, VACAY-JTV. Family, I'm here to talk about it, man. I'm here to talk about it. Here to discuss some things. You already know I'm in my mobile office. So when I'm in my mobile office, I want to talk to my people, want to see my people. What's good to everybody? Shout out to all the new subscribers, all the existing subscribers. Shout out to my VACAY VIP members. And shout out to my VACAY MVPs that help me screen the chat and make sure no weirdos are coming through. But family, we're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about it, man. I got a chance to actually watch a few episodes of 50 Cent's documentary on your boy Diddy. And I just wanted to give you my brief reaction to what I thought about it. And yeah, man, I want to give my take on it. You know what I mean? Give my take on it. Now, a lot of stuff that people have been talking about as far as, you know, getting that 50 or, you know, who is 50 to do this and da-da-da-da-da. And you know what, man? Honestly, I'm all for it because what I've seen just in the couple of episodes that I did get a chance to watch, it's not a complete, like, disrespect to Diddy. Actually, he showed how, you know, him, his producer people and everything, they showed how he came up in the game and actually gave props and acknowledgement to the people around him, from Andre Harrell to Heavy D to a lot of people, a lot of folks, and definitely, you know, Kurt Burrows. Yeah, it was a lot of testimonies in there, stuff that I've never seen before, stuff that I heard of but didn't really know the intricate details of the inside of it. And as I'm watching this thing, man, you know, we see the rise and him just really trying to come up and be in the industry, you know, go from a dancer to, you know, to a VP, to a A&R, to a VP, to all of that. So we showed the rise of him, Diddy, coming up in the game, you know, this young kid who was very ambitious. But at the same time, we're seeing certain things early in the game be explained. What's up? Salute, DeMarcus, salute. We see, you know, certain things, him early in the game, pretty much doing whatever it took for him to be out there in the spotlight or for him to be put on. And that was pretty much kind of everybody back then, right? People were doing certain things to get on. Now, some people went overboard with it. Some people sold their souls to the devil in order to rise up in the industry. And I think that's what 50 and his producer people and directors were trying to get across, that while they do acknowledge his success, they also acknowledge the dark sides of Diddy, right? They give a background on who Sean Combs truly is, from his family standpoint to the people that grew up with him to, you know, all of that. And I appreciated that part because these are the intricate details that we don't know about his past. And we have people who actually grew up with him, who actually were there when he was rising up. One of the other guys, not Kurt Burrows, but one of the other guys was talking about how he taught him how to ride a bike and how people used to tease him and how, you know, they were living in the same house. I think they lived upstairs and his friend lived downstairs, and he had a father to kind of teach him the difference between right and wrong. But Diddy didn't have that. Sean didn't have that, you know what I'm saying? Because his father was taken out and was a gangster, quote unquote, and possibly was snitching, so he got taken out. What do you say, DeMarcus? I'm surprised that 50 never crossed paths with Biggie Smalls. Yeah, I mean, when Big was out, I think 50 was just running the street then, you know what I'm saying? He was young, running the street, doing his thing, so I don't think they would cross paths, you know what I mean? Like back in the early 90s, like how old you think 50 was? 50 was probably a teenager back then. I mean, early 90s, I was a young adult, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm older than 50, right? But 50 was probably like super young back in the early 90s, you know what I'm saying? So when he did come through later on in the late 90s, and 2000s and on, man, you know, he was much older and, you know, now in the music industry. So I know for sure, you know, watching the interviews of 50 and his director, they're promoting this thing. I know there were certain things that was said to 50 from Diddy that, you know, I think we all heard it, that he didn't really like. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was basically saying, like, Diddy basically was flirting with him, was testing him to see if he would go there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's going on? Salute, salute. Thanks for coming through. Hit that like button for your boy. Tap the screen if you're on your phone. And subscribe if this is your very first time, second time, third time being here. So, you know, it was really like Diddy was testing 50 and 50 didn't like that at all. And, you know, I remember hearing how even 50 said it, like, you know, he wrote a couple of songs for Diddy, the G-Dep joint, Take This Money, Make This Money, Ain't No Way You Could Take This. Like, Diddy, like 50 wrote that song, and he wrote a couple of verses, I'm sure, for Diddy, just on some work stuff. It wasn't on some like, yo, we friends, like it's business. And at the same time, just Diddy just trying to control. We learned that how Diddy became, you know, he was a narcissist, how he was doing certain things early in the game, like when he was working for Uptown Records, man. Like I heard about these things, but I never really, you know, got exactly who it was and what that was about, and how he recorded this girl and showed it to his friends, and how he was trying to be like the hustlers and players of Harlem. How his mom kind of dressed him up to be like the hustlers and players in Harlem, so he wanted to be that. How Kurt Burrows explained, man, and I appreciate Kurt Burrows' like testimony, because he's given the actual, because Kurt Burrows was there at the beginning of it all. Like he was at the beginning with Uptown Records, and also when they started Bad Boy, like he was like the dude. He was the second-hand man to Diddy. And once Diddy got that $1 million deal after he got fired from working at Uptown, Kurt Burrows was the man putting it all together. He was making sure everything was running properly, the money was coming in, and Diddy actually wanted to emulate the success of Death Row. Like, all of this stuff we kind of knew, but we weren't really sure. Now, in the early 90s, again, I was a DJ turned producer turned, you know, artist development, all of that. So I was doing a lot of hip hop stuff back then. I knew certain people in the industry back then. I was actually signed to a label back then. And when Bad Boy started, the label that I was under, which was a sub-label under Elektra Records, which was under Warner Brothers Records, that label that started was the same year, and around the same time, maybe a little bit after Bad Boy was started, we was on another label, and that started as well. So yeah, man, like, to hear about it and now to see it for what it is, man, like, crazy, B. It's crazy, because everything that we kind of thought was real. Everything they kind of was talking about, it was real. Would you say, DeMarcus says, do you think Mary J. Blige told 50 some stories about Sean Combs? Maybe. But I don't think Mary want to be involved at all, man. I think Mary just wants to keep it clean and keep herself out of it because of the relationship that she had with Diddy. And then, of course, there's speculation against speculation, allegedly, that Mary was part of his whole sex ring thing. We don't know for sure. There's no evidence showing that. What's going on? Salute, salute. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you for coming through. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for your boy VACAY-J. So yeah, you know, some people were talking that thing, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So we don't know if it's true or not, you know, and if it is true, that's Mary's past. And if that gets exposed, or if she wants to expose that or whatever the case is, that's on her. You know what I'm saying? There's levels of respect that we have for Mary, because she was also young in the game too, trying to come up. But a lot of people back in the 90s, they did certain things, man, that really, you know, certain people don't know about, because back in the 90s, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have, you know, smartphones where we could record and take pictures on the smartphone. We didn't have that back then. Hello. Thank you for coming through. We're talking about 50 Cent's documentary on Diddy, and just giving my first reactions to a couple of episodes that I did see. And also just coming from a, you know, DJ, producer, artist standpoint back then when I was actually coming up in the game myself, working with underground, working with, hip hop artists, working with, independent labels, and then having my own independent label back then. VACAY, most of the stuff is true. Yeah, I was a video girl. Hey, hi, all right. Stop it. Video girl, stop it was too much. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sorry that you went through that. Jay, let me make sure. Jay is a gem. Oh shoot, you's a video girl. Jay is a gem. Man, you are super, super beautiful, and you've been down with your boy for a minute. So yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. I'm sure you went through a lot back then, man. Like, I saw it because again, I was around it. You was a video girl. I had people that I knew that were video girls, and I know they weren't really respecting the ladies back then. And kind of the ladies weren't respecting themselves either, because they were, some of them, not all of them, not you in particular, but I know some of them were willing to do whatever it took to kind of get on and be connected to the top guy, man. I remember that. I remember, even myself, I had a little experience with that where, I'm going to the studio, I'm recording with certain producers who I will not mention, and certain engineers back then in the 90s. And because of my connection and because of what I was doing with my groups and producing and stuff, like, there were certain women who were willing to do certain things that I didn't even have to ask for. And that's not to take away from the bad experiences that these women had, that these guys forced on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have total sympathy for these ladies who went through that, who kind of, was really trying to just be a video girl or just get up in the game. But these guys, compromised a lot of them, and some of them didn't think anything of it. The fact that they said in the documentary that your boy was doing what they allegedly claimed that Cosby was doing was kind of like, throwing stuff in the ladies' drinks, and then next thing you know, they knocked out and he's doing all types of crazy stuff with it. You know what I'm saying? So that was, it wasn't right, number one. But number two, the fact that it was being done was wrong. But this was a normal thing, and people, because of the money, because of the industry, people turned a blind eye to it, which is unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate that people in the industry, like everybody who knew about it, is to blame for really turning a blind eye. But a lot of people was getting paid to not say anything, man. It was wild. It was wild back then. We say, yeah. Jason Jim said exactly. Phone tap with Nas. I will, yes, I'm going to look out for you, girl. I'm going to look out for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Jay is a gem. I didn't even know that. Salute to you. Salute to you and everything you went through, and still being here to give a testimony here. Thank you for sharing that with us, for real, because, we go. You've been with me for a minute, so, I definitely highly respect you. What does it say? DeMarcus says, do you think we'll see Farnsworth Bentley? No. I think Farnsworth did what he needed to do, because we haven't seen or heard Farnsworth Bentley say anything about anything, right? Throughout the trial, throughout anything. We've heard people say, where's Farnsworth? Ask about him, but we have not seen him. I think he is totally out of the game now. I think he did what he needed to do to get whatever he needed, and then he was out. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure if rumors are true that Diddy was compromising people, I hope Farnsworth Bentley wasn't compromised. But in order to get that far, to become an artist, to rise up, to, be the umbrella man and go from being the umbrella man / butler to Diddy, to then him actually having his own stuff. Because I remember the videos, man. He did a video with freaking Andre 3000. You know what I mean? So wild stuff. Yeah, 100. Yeah, absolutely, Jay. It's a gem. Much love to you. Much love to you. Much respect. Dude got those 2003 R&B glasses. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because I'm an R&B guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a hip hop and R&B guy. So thank you. So yeah, man, like looking at it, it was kind of like, you see how I flipped that, Jay? Jay is a jump. You know what I'm saying? That's how you got to do it. You know what I mean? You know how to do it. You be trying to be funny, and then of course you know what I'm saying? You got flipping on. So anyway, to look at it and to see it and to remember hearing about it because, you know, again, once somebody tried to actually come at me on trying to compromise my morals and principles and everything. And that's when I got out of the game. Like I was shopping beats and stuff like that, going to ASCAP, going different places, going to labels and stuff like that. And then when one dude was like, yeah, you know, I got some artists, da da da, and really he was trying to get at me on some like smexual, I was like, you know what, man, I'm out of this thing. Like, so I started my own, I had my own studio in my house. I started my own label and I was working with the artists in my area, my region. And then because of that, other, you know, they had people who were actually in the industry. And then because they heard the stuff that I did locally, it went regional. And then people from out of state started getting at me and saying, yo, I heard your beats. I heard this song, da 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 da. I want to work with you. So that's how I started doing music production. And really was hip hop. It was more hip hop than anything. You know, later on in like the 2000s, I kind of really got into producing R&B. But anyway, enough about me. Back to the documentary. So far, I like the documentary. They talked about how Diddy became infamous with the City College, celebrity basketball game, the first one, which was overcrowded because they bum rushed, man. I ain't say that word in a minute. They bum rushed the entrance and people actually was trampled and he became infamous for that. And I remember that like it was yesterday, man. What you say? Yeah, definitely got no belt. Yeah. Crazy. So, you know, like I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember hearing about that. I was like, dang. And I used to live right down from City College. I lived on 145th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam. So I've been to City College like multiple times when I was young, before I moved to the suburbs after elementary. So absolutely. Yeah, I'm from New York, Jay. Yeah. Born and raised, Harlem, baby. You know, 50 Cent trolling Puff Daddy. You think he's trolling or he's, you know what? I thank you for subbing. I appreciate that. I honestly think that 50 is doing something that, yeah, bum rush the show. You remember that? It's a bum rush. Let's just bum rush it. Jay, I'm figuring you from New York too. But yeah, man, like I honestly, people are getting mad at 50. And I honestly could say I'm not mad at 50 at all. Like he's bringing this to light because a lot of people who have turned a blind eye to what was going on, they're too afraid to do something like this. Now, again, 50 knows who not to mess with, right? So you mentioned Clive Davis. You know you shouldn't be saying anything about Clive Davis because Clive Davis has a lot of control over a lot of things in the industry, and that can shut down not only what you're doing in music, but what you're doing in the entertainment industry. You know what I'm saying? When people get so powerful, there's people that you know you shouldn't be talking about, you shouldn't touch. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. What? What you say? Hold on, let me read this real quick. The Satisfy You video, what? That's the Marcus talking like that? By Sean Cole? Oh. Too bad the reputation went down here, yeah. Yeah, definitely 50 not stupid. Stop playing. 145th is St. Nick, Jay? Yo, I probably seen you. You probably seen me a million times, man. 145th Street, Broadway in Amsterdam. But I'm all up and down there, you know? My cousins, they lived in the Bronx, University Avenue. I was all up and down, 145th, 135th, 125th, all of that, all uptown. Yeah, that's what's up. You from 145th St. Nick? That's what's up, man. So we from the same block. We from the same block. You just on St. Nick, and I was all the way over on the west side. You know, Broadway, Amsterdam, Riverside Drive. Yeah, Harlem, baby. Harlem all day. Yeah, I miss it. I miss sometimes. I miss definitely the food. Jay is a gem. We locked in. You already know we locked. Your name is Jay. My name is Jay. We locked in. For real. You know what I'm saying? Definitely connect with your boy. Polo Grounds. Yes. Polo Grounds. Salute to Polo Grounds, man. Yeah, you missed those days? Yeah, I mean, you know, those were the simple days, right? We ain't had no internet. We ain't had no YouTube. We ain't had none of that, man. Those were some good times, man. Like, we didn't know any better, and it was okay that we didn't know any better, right? Of course, we don't want to get trapped up in some BS, right? That people was trying to trick on us. You know, my grandfather, you know, I swear he had parlors and he owned property in Harlem, in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and all this and that. And he had his own, like, again,